All right, guys, stay tuned here for the top 10 tips for first-time Amtrak riders.
The first tip is that the observation car on these cross-country routes is for sleeper car passengers and coach passengers. A lot of times first-time riders don't know that they are able to go up to the observation car with their ticket and hang out there and eat there, see the sights, and just enjoy that space as well.
Exactly. It's amazing to me how oftentimes coach class passengers don't know that they have access to the observation lounge, and they just sit at their seat the whole time. So just feel free to, hop up and head over there. I know when we were on the Sunset Limited, we had the observation car to ourselves several times, and then every once in a while someone would come in from the sleeper car side and sit on the other end. But for the most part, we had it nearly to ourselves because almost no one but us from the coach car was coming into the observation car.
Yeah, you'll see it go unused a lot unless you're in a really scenic area.
Yeah.
But it can be a lot of fun just to go up there and sit and see the small towns, countryside go by. So that is definitely something you need to do as a first-time rider. Go up and check out that observation car if there is one on your train. So as soon as you get on, check and see, it's not going to be busy. Go up there and check it out right away.
Right. And the nice thing I think about the observation car is that you've got not just the tables that you can sit in, which is nice. You do have a tray table at your seat if you're in coach, or you do have the tray table in your room if you're in a roomette. But you've got the table, and like 4 of you could sit around a table and, play games, or if you wanted to set up your 2 computers and work on something or watch movies or whatever, gives you a lot more space and a nice big table. And then you have those nice chairs that are actually facing out towards the window instead of the direction of travel.
Tip 2 is that you can and should bring your own food on the train, even if you're in a sleeper car, but definitely if you're in the coaches.
Yes, and there's lots of reasons for this. One of the reasons is we did have one train ride where the cafe car was not working. So they were not able, well, the cafe car was working, but they weren't able to charge anybody, so they couldn't sell anything. So we were unable to, for several hours, until they got it fixed, we were unable to purchase anything in the cafe car, which was a real problem for us. And we, unfortunately, was the one trip where we didn't bring any food or snacks with us. So that made it even more challenging. And so that's one of the reasons. Other reason is, like, even if you're in sleeper cars, go ahead and bring something with you, because the dining car closes and the cafe car closes at a certain time. So you want to have access to something if you need it, or if you have a dietary need or whatever, go ahead and bring that stuff, because you'll want to have access to it.
Yeah, if you've eaten dinner like at 6 o'clock and you want to have a little snack at 10:30 or something, there won't likely be anything open.
Right.
So you'll need to have something with you at that time, unless you stashed away a couple of brownies from dinner. The third tip here is for first-time riders. Trains tend to be late more often than you would think. So generally on the cross-country routes, they're almost always late. And on the East Coast routes, they tend to be on time a little bit more, but still plan on it being a little bit late. And so we see a lot of times people making a really tight connection, like I've got a flight they got to get to, or another train, or a cruise, some important meeting. You don't want to do that, because you're going to be stressed out the entire ride, hoping that you're going to make it, and you're probably not. So that's something I would definitely advise. Don't stress. Make any tight connections.
And we have found that people will say, like, is 2 hours enough? Time between connections? No, it's not. I know it seems like it is plenty of time. It just isn't, because especially if you're on a cross-country route, the likelihood of it being more than 2 hours late is pretty high.
Yeah.
So I would not schedule anything close to it. Usually we give ourselves an extra day. Like, we don't usually book our transition till the next day, just to be as safe as possible, because we have that margin of time. But definitely make sure that you're giving yourself a lot of space on that.
And if you go into it knowing you're likely going to be late, it's okay. You have that built-in time. You can just enjoy the extra time. They will feed you. They will take care of you the whole time if you're late. So just consider it free time on the train.
Bonus train
But if you have a tight connection, you're just going to be stressed. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Fourth tip is learn about the stops ahead of time so that you know how long they are, where you're going to be stopping, and what you can do at each one. Because there's 3 different types of stops on a train. There is the real quick stop where they're only going to be there for 3 minutes usually, and they don't let anybody off. So you're not going to be able to go smoke or get fresh air or anything like that.
Just for boarding.
Just for boarding and unboarding. And if there's no one getting on and off, they're barely even there. So that's one stop. The next stop is a fresh air break, which is going to be anywhere from 7 to 15 minutes, depending on how late they are. They do, if the train is late, they do try to cut those down so they make up time. But if you're on time, they're going to take the full time, so you'll have more time.
Right.
And then there are crew change stops where it's going to be even longer because they have to change out all the crew, except for your dining car attendants and your room attendants will stay the same. But it's the engineers and the conductors that'll be changing out. So they have to get them on and off. And you do also stop longer at bigger stations just so that there's more passengers getting on and they have to accommodate that.
Yeah, that will definitely make a big difference if there's a lot more people getting on. They will always announce what type of stop you're going to have, so make sure that you can hear that. Don't put, earbuds into both ears. You won't be able to hear any of the announcements and know what's happening. So make sure that you're always listening for them, and if you missed it or you were in the bathroom and didn't hear it or whatever, make sure you ask a conductor or a staff person and they will let you know what type of stop it's going to be, so you'll know.
Yeah, one thing I like to do on the app is if you take out your app when you're on the train and you type in the status of your train, you can put your own status in, put in the next stop. So like if you're in Denver and you're going towards another stop, put that stop in and your train number. It'll tell you when you're supposed to arrive and when you're supposed to leave. So it'll give you an estimated idea of how long the next stop is going to be.
Right. And then the other thing, the last thing to keep track of at stops is that you're going to get that all aboard to get on. So in order to hear that, that's only going to be someone actually yelling it with just their voice. So you need to be near the train, which means you need to stay near the train platform. Again, if you do have time to go someplace else, they will tell you, and make sure that you stay within that, because they will leave without you.
Yeah, but you usually don't have time to go anywhere else. So.
Very rarely.
Tip 5 is to sign up for the guest rewards program before you take your first trip, because you're going to get a lot of points, you're going to get a lot of free trips and a lot of rewards, right?
Yes, and the great thing is, depending on the different tiers that you're in, you'll get coupons, so like free companion rides, so you'll get to bring someone with you for free. You get discounts, you'll get discounts, for different types of things. You can also get access to Metropolitan Lounge without paying the fee, even if you're not in a first class or in a sleeper car. Lots of different amenities and options that you get added in with all of the different tiers as you work your way up. So it's definitely great. Plus, on top of that, you get to use the points to ride for free. So that's pretty good.
Can't beat that. Next one is going to be, if you're on a long trip especially, right when you get on, I like to recommend go find all the available bathrooms and locate where they are and check them out, because a lot of people don't know that the bathrooms can be very different. So the closest one to you might be really small, and one car down there might be an enormous bathroom. And maybe there's one that maybe not a lot of people are using. So you want to check those out. The Amtrak cars are not all uniform, and even on the same train, they'll mix and match old cars, new cars, and they're going to vary quite greatly in the amenities of each car. So don't just think that what is right next to you is what the whole train is. Go on a little scouting mission and see what the best thing to do is for you when you want to use the bathroom.
Yes, because if you're a coach car passenger, you're not restricted to only using whatever bathroom is closest to you. You can use the bathroom in another coach car. The only bathrooms you don't have access to are the ones in the sleeper car. Now, sleeper car passengers have access to all the bathrooms. They have access to theirs, and of course they could use the coach cars, but it doesn't make any sense to go down there. But for the most part, those are the access levels that you have on the train for the bathrooms.
Yeah. The next tip is don't bring too much because you'll need to keep track of it on the train. And even if you're in a sleeper car, you don't want to bring too much because there's just not a lot of storage in there.
Right.
And you're going to have to keep track of that, your space. So you may be putting it down below in a luggage hold. But definitely on the, if you're in the coaches, we like to check our bag, if we have a big bag, and then have one bag that has all of our valuables in it, electronics, that kind of thing, in a backpack, and we just keep that with us the whole time.
Yep.
Then we normally have a snack bag or something like that we just leave at the seat, figuring anybody wants a snack, I guess they can have it. So,
free snacks.
Yeah, that is just something that we leave there. But make a plan and separate out all your stuff by what you're gonna do. Check it, keep it with you, leave it at the seat. You should have a plan for all that thing.
And the thing is, not just keep track of it, but you also have to drag it around with you. And sometimes it can be a little cumbersome. Sometimes you can be moving up going up steps on the train or different things like that. So you might have to climb with a bunch of stuff. And sometimes there's someone there to help you. Sometimes there's not. So make sure you don't bring too much stuff. It's really a challenge.
Okay, next tip is for sleeper car passengers, make sure that you don't forget that you have use of the Metropolitan lounges.
Yes.
Both, in any big city that you're going to be in. So if you're in New York, Chicago, or LA, or any of these cities with a big Metropolitan lounge, Portland definitely has one. Boston, you have use of that lounge, and it's included with your ticket. So go sit in there beforehand. They all do differ in amenities. The best ones are definitely New York City is the best one, and Chicago and LA are probably the next two. So especially if you're in one of those three cities, I would definitely check out the Metropolitan Lounge before you get on your train ride.
Yes.
Tip 9 is going to be that the Amtrak stations are not near airports. Almost always. So plan accordingly.
Yes. So there's lots of different things that you can do. Sometimes you can go ahead and book a throughway bus with Amtrak itself. So make sure that you take care of that ahead of time and book it and pay for it. And then you'll be all set. Know if you can get an Uber from that location or not, or a taxi, or just have your ride to pick you up there, or schedule some type of transportation to get you from there.
And tip 10 is going to be about special needs. If you have special needs, let Amtrak know ahead of time, and let them know anything you need to know, need help with while you're on the train, because they are some of the most accommodating people in the travel industry, and they will help you. So make sure that you speak up, let people know what you need, and I think that's going to get taken care of for you.
Yes, and the further ahead that you could tell them, the better. So don't wait till you get to the station to say, hey, I need information about accessibility for this need. Let them know when you book the ticket. Call them. There is also, if you book online, a way to also put in special needs when you book your ticket as well. So make sure that you pay attention to that, or just call them and let them know if you need to. But then also, I would do it when I get to the station as well.
Yeah, exactly. Let them know, and they will definitely take care of you. We've seen them go above and beyond for a lot of needs that people have. So don't hesitate to say that.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we hope you guys are garnering from all of these tips, these top 10 tips for first-time riders. We hope you enjoy your trip, and hopefully these will help you out to have a better trip than you had already planned. Guys, don't forget, we have tons of videos here on the channel, as well as lots of blogs on our website, groundedlifetravel.com. Give us a like on this video, and we'll catch you guys on the rails.